All right, we are going to be talking about the Irobot Roomba devices right here. I have a couple of devices, Irobot Roomba devices. I have the Irobot Roomba M6 right here. This is the top tier, top of the line Roomba mop. I've had to use this, got a chance to use this many times to keep my floors absolutely clean. Right here, I have the Irobot Roomba 675. I just had to get that right. On to my left right here, this is also a great device right here. I use this for sweeping the hardwood floors. And to the right, I have the robot. It's a little dusty right here. I'm going to go ahead and wipe this down a little bit. But this right here, don't want this to go off right here. But this one right here, I use for cleaning the hardwood floor as well as carpeting. So this right here, this is the i7 Plus, and it has mine of its own right now. The i7 Plus is used for the carpeting. It does well on the carpeting, but you mainly use it on the hardwood floor. Now carpeting, it does do the job. It picks up a lot of debris off of the carpeting, but it does challenge the battery a little bit, but it can still get through. I'm really surprised that it can go all the way through the hardwood floors and still go on to the carpeting and get up all of the debris. And you can see right here, it comes with this right here. This is the Plus model. So it comes with a automatic disposal right here. I show you, this is the vacuum bag that comes with the disposal right here. So when this device right here is done, so you can program it to clean all the floors in your place. And when it's done, it comes back on to the mount right here. I can show you the mount right here. Maybe I can get in close so you guys can see this a little bit better. So it comes back onto the mount. And what happens is it sucks all of the debris from out of the bin right here into this right here and up into, let me show you this, up into the bag right here. And the bag fills up. The bag is maybe a quarter of the way filled, and I probably ran this device right here probably a good 30 times, and the bag is still not full, but it comes up really easily. So when you come take it out, you just simply pull it up like this, take it, and discard of it. Now see, this is what it looks like on the inside right there. Hepa Filter, everything right there. Cleans it out pretty well. So I'm gonna put this bag back in here, and I'm gonna talk about the pros and cons of this device right here. This is the i7, okay? This is the i7 Roomba. Now this has some cons to it. Pros for the most part, because it does a great job in keeping my floors super clean, but it does come with its share of cons, okay? So like, we can start off with the cons or we can start off with the pros. We'll start off with the cons. Some of the cons is that it does require occasional cleaning. It builds up hair right here and into the brushes, but you can simply just take out these right here, and to clean the brushes, it's not really a bad, too much of a problem. You just simply unclip that, pull out the brushes right here, and look, I've had older models of the Roomba, and this has been very difficult to get out. But with this right here, I'm able just to slide these brushes out and get the hair, and voila. The hair will, if you do not do this, it will slow down the Roomba, and it will drain the battery faster. So it's important to keep these clean. So you just simply take this out. You can actually wipe this down. Let me get a little wipe right here. I just get a wipe right here, and look, something got caught up in here. It's a quarter or something, but it goes back into the bin. I just simply wipe this out right here. And that's all pretty much I do. I mean, every now and then you have to do a little bit more of a maintenance with cleaning it out, because, but more times than not, it doesn't require much. And then after you just take out that air, you just simply go ahead, line everything back up in here. This is kind of tricky right here. You just line them up. Somehow goes in here right here. No, it goes the other way around. So you line these up, and it goes back into place, and it's ready to go ahead and vacuum. And see how you just line them up, the gray pieces on one side, the dark green on the other. Got to wiggle it in. See, it goes in there, and you just slap it back into place just like that. And the brushes are back in place. This right here, you just simply can get a pair of scissors or something and just pull the hair up. Not a lot of hair gets into this right here. Another thing that you have to do to keep this clean is this wheel, just simply pop that up, and then you can press it this way, and you get hair from out of that, and then you just simply pop it back in the right way, and then press it down here. And that's as far as the hair clogging problems that I have with that. One thing that you have to do with all the Roombas is keep the sensors clean. And all I do is just identify the sensors, and then just take, you know, wipe, and then just wipe the sensors. This way it can detect if it's coming close to an edge of a table or floor, you know, or not table, of course a table right here, but the room or the edge of the stairs. You got to keep the sensors clean so it can detect that. All right, now say for instance you didn't want this plus right here. Say for instance you didn't want this this plus, this automatic disposal. You can actually get the Roomba without the automatic disposal. And basically all you do is just basically works like a regular Roomba, where it has a dustbin that you can empty out. And so the dustbin is on the back right here. You can have optional, like sometimes I don't use this. Sometimes I take it to a remote room in my place where it cannot get to the automatic disposal, and I'll just run it, and it just collects the dust in here. And when it's done, I'll just send the Roomba back home with the home button, and it'll empty the dustbin. But say for instance, I did not have this automatic dustbin. What I would do is I just simply just come up and then fill up, this dustbin fills up, and then there's a little trash can icon right here. I'm gonna simply press that, and it opens up, and I can just dump out the dustbin. It's just as simple as that, okay? One thing to know with this, there is also a Hepa filter that you have to keep clean or replace it with a new one, or else your Roomba will not have proper suction power and will drain the battery very fast. And that's this right here, this Hepa filter right here. You can get new Hepa filters if this one gets clogged up. You see how it clogs up right here? I'm going to show you right there. All that sometimes. So I found a trick with this. I can just simply knock this dust off, and I can have more uses out of this before I have to replace this. But it is important that you keep this with your Roomba, the Hepa filter, clean. All right, I'm not going to dust this out, but simply what I do is I just simply knock it off, knock the dust off, and then put it back on. And you can actually hear it in your Roomba that the Roomba is working fine after you get the dust off, because you will hear that it has normal suction power. And so that's one thing to keep clean. And when you're done with that, just simply come back up here and put your dustbin back into place right here. And with the Roomba, you just simply set it on top right there. Or if I had it plugged in, I can press the home button. One of the cool features these things have is if you're not using your app, the app is very cool to have. If you get one of these Roombas, run it with the app, it'll map out your whole place and clean it very well. But say for instance, you don't have your phone, you don't have the app up, you don't want to use the app. That's okay. You don't have to use that. You can actually use the controls right here. They're fairly simple controls. There's just 3 of them in here. I'm getting close so you can see this. There's 3 controls. There is the home button where it sends it home. There is the clean button, all right? And then there is the spot clean function right here. Now the spot clean function is, what ends up happening is you can press this and it will do, you place it wherever the mess is on the floor, press this, and it will clean the spot. I think it's about a 5-foot radius where it'll go in circles one way, go in a circle the other way, and clean up that spot that you need cleaning. That's a spot feature. I use that quite often. If I spill something, I'm clumsy. It happens a lot. I am human. All right. So it happens a lot. And so I have to use the spot feature quite often. But more often than not, I just use the clean function. All you simply do is you tap it and it goes off. See, watch, it's going to back up, right? Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. And then I press it again to cancel that. I want to cancel it. I'm not ready to vacuum my counters just yet. All right, so when you're picking up the Roomba, a lot of them have, just like this, they have a handle where you pick this up right here and you can carry it around right there. If you're wondering what this looks like, here's a con with this, okay? Because I want to keep my walls, and I've seen this a lot, I just put little bumper pads on here to keep my walls absolutely clean. These are felt pads that I added on aftermarket. Some of them are wearing off, but it keeps the Roomba from actually doing any sort of damage to the wall. So the newer Roombas, they actually don't damage your walls at all, or leave any scuff marks or anything like that. But I want to be extra safe, so I use these bumpers, put these bumpers on here to prevent them altogether. And when the Roomba is done, it comes back on these diodes and charges again. So that's the Irobot Roomba I7 Plus with the automatic dirt dispenser. We're going to move over right here. This is the M6, and I'm going to talk about the M6 because I like this a lot. I was kind of in doubt with this for a while, all right, the M6, but I became a believer, and I'll tell you why. All right, so right here, I'm going to show you some of the pads, the pads that you can use with the M6, the Braava Jet M6 right here. So these are some of the pads. Some of them are the authentic Irobot Braava Jet pads, and others are the off-market or aftermarket type of pads. And I'll go over those with you, and I'll share my experience with those. I have a good and bad experience with that. But let's go ahead and talk about the M6. All right, so here is the M6. I'm going to come in a little closer so you can see this. So this is the M6. I bought this to go along with my Irobot right here, the i7. They are paired together. All right, so you can pair them together with the app, the Irobot app. You can pair them together where you can get the Roomba to vacuum first, and after it's done vacuuming, the M6 will follow behind it after this is done and mop your entire floor. It is a pretty cool feature, so you can set it, go lay down or go for a walk or whatever, and when you come back home, your floors will be absolutely marvelous. They will be swept and they will be mopped. Now, the mopping, I'm going to bring out one of the pads that I was talking about. All right, we also have, this is one of the aftermarket pads. I'm going to talk about this and the solution that goes with the M6. All right, so we're going to talk about this. All right, so the M6, all right, it is a mopping robot, okay? And it pairs them with that. And so it cleans really well. It's basically has the same type of features as the Roomba, where it has the bumper right here where it runs into a wall or something or an obstacle, and it will detect it and it will stop. Okay, it will not damage anything, it will stop. So this is the bumper that comes along with it. I'm going to get in closer with the controls, and like I said, it's similar to the Roomba, where it has the clean feature right here. You see the clean feature. It has the spot cleaning right here, and it also has the go home feature. So if, say for instance, you did not want to run this with the app, you can use these right here. You can use the spot feature, you can use the clean, and you can use the home feature to go home. Now, all right, they're very useful, all right, if you don't want to use the app. So we're going to talk about some of the little caveats of this right here, some of the little features that the M6 has that I appreciate so much. And we're going to start right here. There's like right here on the front of it, you have right here, this is where the water actually comes out. The water comes out here, it sprays out. Now with the app, you can actually change the amount of water that comes out from low to medium to a lot of water. And depending on how soiled your floors are or how frequent you run your M6, you can change this up accordingly to get your floors to the optimal cleanliness that you need. All right, so it comes out right here. And I remind you, some people try to use their own solution to clean. Irobot Braava Jet, they actually make their own solution right here. Now this solution right here, they recommend that you only use this Irobot Braava Jet solution in their devices, because I've heard stories that people try to use other type of solutions in here, and they end up getting this clogged up and it voids the warranty and they can no longer use their Braava Jet. So you don't want to avoid that. You get this right here. It is relatively, I mean, it's really good, okay, for this right here. And I'll tell you why, okay? So you have this huge bottle that comes right here. It's 16 ounces per bottle right here. Now, I'm going to show you on the back, and it says what to use with this. So if you have the Braava Jet M6, you use 6 capfuls per tank. If you have the Braava Jet 200, all right, you use 2 capfuls per tank, and the Brava 300, 2 caps. And I'm going to show you the tank on this and what I'm talking about. So in here, right here, is the tank. Now, before you run it, you cannot run this with the mopping pad, the wet mopping pad, without the tank being full with liquid. All right, so what you end up doing is right here. Here's the tank right here. It's just this small tank, and believe me, this right here can clean a lot. It doesn't take a lot. Braava Jet, I mean, they've come up with the device that can actually clean floors with using the minimal amount of water and solution possible to clean your floors, and it does a really great job. Now, with this is the tank that you have to fill up. So basically, all you do is just twist this right here counterclockwise, and it pops off right here. And this is where you fill it up with water. Now, you have to put 6 capfuls per tank. I actually tell you, like, I don't even put 6 capfuls. I use like maybe 2 or 3 capfuls per tank. And I'll tell you why, because I find that using 6 capfuls may leave my floors somewhat sticky. You know, that problem you have when you use too much soap. So I end up using just about 2 capfuls of the solution in this mix, and then filling the rest up with water. And it does my floors wonder. 3 capfuls is enough for me. If your floors are heavily soiled, it may not be enough. You just have to gauge it. Even though they say 6, you know, I go with less than that, because it saves on the solution, as well as I don't need that much solution to clean my floors because they're not heavily trafficked. All right, so after I put the capfuls in here and fill the rest up with water all the way up, I just go ahead and simply take this right here, and it just goes back in place. I'll show you what it looks like. So there's a cap with a gasket on it, and I just simply line it up. And okay, why am I not lining it up? So line it up and then twist it counterclockwise, and it's back into place. And then all I do is place this back down, just like that. And if it's too hard for you, there's actually instructions right here. All right, do you see that? There's instructions on how to fill the tank up right here. It's a 1, 2, 3 instructions on how to fill it up. When you're done, just simply close that, and it's ready to go. All right, so we talked about the tank, we talked about the functions, we talked about the sprayer. Now we're going to talk about the pads that go underneath. So there's many pads that can go underneath here. We're going to get to that. But first, I'm going to show you how this comes off and goes on. So when it comes time to take the pads off, there is a button right here in the front. Now this right here is the release button. So when I press it, let me get up so you guys can see this a little bit better. All right, so when I press it, it releases the pad, and I'm able to take it off. Now this right here, this pad that I'm using right here is actually, let me go ahead and take the tank out because I don't want to spill the water everywhere. All right, so this pad right here is the wet disposable pad right here. So you use this once, it gets pretty dirty, okay? They really hold up. They'll hold up and clean your floors. They will get dirty, all right? They will get dirty, and you dispose of them. Here's the pack that it came in right here. So here are the wet mopping pads, all right? There's 7 wet mopping pads that come in here, the disposable wet mopping pads. They're quite useful. And you'll know that they're wet mopping pads because when you put it on, it will say wet mopping pads. Because if you have anything else other than a wet mopping pad and you put it on the Braava Jet M6, it will not spray out the water. And it detects it because there's like a key right here, okay? So you see these cutouts right here? This is a key that the Braava Jet M6 detects with its sensor that's right here. So it will not make a mistake. All right, so we're gonna take one of the wet mopping pads, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. So if you can see, there's 2 slots on either side. And so what I do is I go ahead and take the Braava Jet, and you're gonna have to slide it inside of these slots right here. So I'm gonna take it right here and slide it into the slot. It can be kind of tricky if you're not used to it. And you slide it until it clicks into place. Now listen, let's see if you can hear it. You hear that? It clicked into place. And one way you know that it's in place is that you can wiggle it and it won't come out unless you press the button right here. All right, so that's the disposable Irobot Braava Jet wet mopping pad. All right, so I'm gonna show you the other ones, okay? So there's also a washable Irobot Braava Jet M6 pad. There's two washable wet mopping pads. Now these are the authentic ones. Now there's a big difference between getting the authentic replacement parts and an off-market or off-brand part. And I'll explain that to you. You're gonna really wanna listen into this. So here, right here, I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. Now this is the Irobot Braava Jet. These are the washable wet mopping pads. All right, so look at this. All right, so they feel good. I mean, so these right here, after you're done mopping your floor, you can wash these and reuse this. Okay, so you can throw it in. I usually throw this in with my drop rugs, wash them, and then I air dry them. And I'll tell you why I air dry them and don't put them in the dryer in a second. I'll get to that. All right. But they're great. You can use them over and over again, and they mop. Both of them, they mop pretty much the same. However, I like this right here, the disposal wet mopping pads, because I can actually see the dirt when I'm done. And I know it's just like, okay, yes, it picked up dirt off the floor, where you can't really see it with this, but you just know that this picked up some dirt off of it. And if you want to really tell, get a clear bucket of water, put it in and see how dirty it is, if that floats your boat, I guess. But okay, so this is the wet mopping pad and the disposable, and this is disposable and this is the washable. Now they look the same, if you same size and everything. I'll show you clipping in. So I'm going to take off the disposable one right here, clip that off, and then I'm going to put the washable one in place. All right, like I said, remember, do you see this right here? You have to slide it into the slots and wait for it to click, and that's how you know it's in a place. All right, so I'm going to take this right here. You see this? It's going to slide this card into the slot, and if it helps you out anyway, you can actually fold back the pad right here and then slide it into place. Let me go ahead and show you right here. Okay, so fold it back, slide it until it clicks, and remember what I did with the disposable wet mopping pad? Wiggle it to see if it comes out. If it doesn't come out, it's locked into place. All right, so this is the, right here, this is the washable wet mopping pads. A little bit of tongue twister. All right, so I showed you the disposable wet mopping pads. I showed you the washable wet mopping pads. Now I'm going to show you the dry mopping pads. That's right. Yes, there is a dry mopping pad for dry sweeping. Yes, there is. Okay, and I'm going to show you the authentic Irobot Braava Jet dry sweeping pads. And that's what this is right here. If you want to look at this, you can come up close a little bit. It has like a little slick right here, area right here. And I think this is for sliding along the floor. And then right here is a cloth, a disposable cloth, cotton cloth, that is used to dry sweep the floor. I rarely use the dry sweeping. I can't see a reason why I would use that, especially when I have the Irobot Roomba over here to sweep the floor before it mops. So I don't use this. I haven't really talked to anybody who uses them, but I'm sure if you don't have the Braava Jet, this will come, or the Brava, excuse me, the Irobot Roomba, this will come definitely in handy. All right, so this is the dry sweeping. Now I'm going to talk to you about the aftermarket pads. Okay, so we have the wet washable mopping pad right here connected, and I'm going to show you the aftermarket. Now this is not the right here. This pad right here is not the authentic. This is the aftermarket, and it does a pretty good job the first 2 cycles. But when you wash it, I'm going to show you. I'm going to flip this on the back. Do you see this right here? This right here, it cracks. Okay, so this is not the Irobot Roomba. This is aftermarket. For some reason, this sliding pad does not hold up, and because it broke down washing, I can no longer slide this into place like it normally would on the like the authentic right here would. If you look at it, it's actually a little bit thicker right here for the sliding card, so it lasts. So this is the official Irobot Roomba or Irobot Braava Jet pad that lasts quite a long time. Now there's also a washable, okay, there's a washable dry sweeping pad. Now it looks similar to the disposable dry sweeping pad, where it has that slick front right here, which I think is used for sliding along the floor, but you can wash it. Again, I have never used this right here. I just don't see a use for this right here when I have the Irobot Roomba and as well as the mop right here. So I don't really use that. So I don't use this so much. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and clip this on, and then I'm going to go to the Brava or the Irobot Roomba 675. All right. So this is the hot ticket right here. I'm going to get to that. Let me go ahead and put this back on to its clip right here. I'm going to take this and slide it back into place just like that and put this right here. And I'm going to slide it back, and I'm going to talk about the 675. Hot ticket right now. Everybody's been hearing about this. So here is the 675 right here. Irobot. I have a lot of sweepers in here because it's just like I like my floors to be really clean. All right, so here it is right here. This is the Irobot Roomba 675. Now this right here is a lower model than the i7. i7 is great, goes over carpeting really well, but don't knock the 675. This is still a workhorse. I, however, don't use this on carpeting, okay? I don't use this on carpeting, but I can tell you this. I actually think this goes better on hard floors than the i7 over here with the disposable back piece right here. All right, so this goes well, and I'll show you why. I'm going to flip this upside down, and I'm going to show you why it goes so well. But before we get to that, I'm just going to go over some of the basic features with this. And the one thing I like about this is if I need to go to a room and I just want to do that room and that's it, I just simply go ahead and take this right here and pick it up like here. All right, so it's a sturdy handle right here. It won't break, okay? I can pick this up, carry it around, take it to where I want to. All right, fairly simple. Just like all the other Roombas and other products that Irobot makes, it has the bumper where it goes into a wall. It detects that it should not go any further, and it stops. So it has a classic bumper right here. I'm going to turn this around, and right here it has so the same features. It just looks a little bit different for cleaning. You have the spot cleaning. You have the clean right here, and then you have the go back to dock, which is great to have. I really like the spot cleaning for when I'm clumsy and I drop things. I press the spot clean and it cleans that spot fairly well. All right, the clean button right here, and then the dock feature. Now, when it comes to disposal of products, you know what? I'm going to get to the disposal last. Right now, I'm going to talk about some of the features underneath that makes it great for hardwood floor. And I'll show you why I think it's better for the hardwood floor than the higher model of the i7. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to look at the guts of this, okay? We're going to look at the guts of the Roomba. All right, so here it is right here. So here's the guts of the Roomba, and I'll show you why I think it's better. So, but before we get to that, I took the sweeper off right here. I have to put that back on, but there's supposed to be a side sweeper right here. I took that off. I don't have it in place anymore, but just know that there's a sweeper that goes here, a corner sweeper that goes right here. All right, so we're going to talk about the guts of this. If you look at this, all right, same diodes right here for charging. You can have it charge it, go into the mount, and it charges right here. It has sensors to keep it from going over the cliff at places. All right, so we talked about that. And keeping it clean, all right, we're going to talk about the brushes right here, keeping things clean. It has two brushes. It has a bristle brush, and then it also has a rubber brush. All right, now let's look at the Irobot Roomba i7. Now right here it has two rubber brushes right here. Two rubber brushes are great on carpeting, But for when it goes over hardwood floor, I have found with my experience with vacuums, okay, robot vacuums, that the bristles right here work far better than having double rubber brushes. Now it's crazy, sounds crazy, but it actually cleans better with the bristles than it does with the rubber brushes on hard floors. All right, just take a note of that. And if you have one of these and you upgrade to i7 or higher, or you downgrade from one of the double rubber brushes to something with the bristles, know that on a hard floor, the bristles actually clean better than double rubber. All right, just take my word for it. All right, take my word for it. So I'm going to open it up and I'm going to show you what this is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clip this right here. So when you're doing maintenance, what I do with maintenance, I use these clips right here. Just pull this up and this pops up a little bit and I just simply take these out right here. Now there's a tool that you can get where you just take it, and if you have hair, dog hair, or whatever kind of hair, human hair, cat hair, hair, you just take the tool, slide it on here, and the hair actually comes off. It's fairly simple to get up with the bristle brushes. And when you're done, you just simply slide it back in, locks into place. And with the rubber brush, it's the same thing where it pops out, but to remove the hair, sometimes I have to use either a sharp utensil like some scissors or a knife to get the hair from wrapped around this. But when I get it from wrapped around it, it's good to go. Wipe it down on the inside and just simply go ahead and place the brush back in here. Sometimes you have to fiddle with it a little bit and then to get it to go back into place. Simple as that. Go ahead and close this and you're ready to rumble. But let's talk about the trash bin. Okay, so there is a bin right here. And I actually like this better than some of the higher models of the trash bin. And I'll show you why I like the bin on the 675, the Roomba 675, some of the lower end models. For one, it is fairly simple to remove. All right, so simply just come up here, pinch on that, and it pulls out. All right, just like this. And then if you have debris in here, you just take it and you just tap it in the trash and the debris comes out. Now, the reason why I like this better is because it doesn't have a HEPA filter. And I'm going to show you what happens with the HEPA filter on some of the larger models. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out and I'm going to show you. So this is one of the cons with the higher models is the HEPA filter. Now with the HEPA filter, it's great at keeping allergens out of the air. Yes, yada, yada, yada. But it kind of takes away from the automated process. And I'll show you why. All right, so this is the HEPA filter, right? It looks clean on this side, right? You're like, yes, I'm having clean air. I don't have to deal with nasty air because of the HEPA filter. But it takes a little bit of the automation out of it. And I noticed probably after about 5 good household vacuums with one of the higher models like the i7 or the i9 or i8 or whatever, i6 or whatever, some of the higher end models with the HEPA filter, it gets clogged up. And I'm going to show you this. All right, so you get one of, so look, this right here, and you have to tap it off to clean it. Either get a new HEPA filter, replace it, or clean this off and then simply put it back in and you can use it again. It's not a bad issue right there, especially when you know what it's doing. It's cleaning the air, but it does take the automation out of the process, all right? So that's when I go back to what I was saying, what I like about some of the lower end models like the 675, it doesn't have a HEPA filter. It has a separate type of filter. I mean, it cleans, it filters a little bit, not as good as the HEPA filter, but let me go ahead and open this up. It's really simple. You just take this right here, pull this out right here, and this is the filter right here. After you knocked out the dirt and the trash, and you need to clean this because it became too filthy, you just take this, and it slides out right here, and you can just simply go over the trash, tap out all of the dust right there, clean it out, even take an old dry toothbrush, wipe it down right there, all right, and it comes out just like that. You're able to put it back in. Fairly simple process, and even when you have this right here, you could go like 20 times, 30 times throughout your household on hard floors without having to actually brush any of this off right here. So that's a really good feature with the 675. And also, To put it back in, it's so simple. All you have to do is slide this back down in here and it locks into place just like that. You see that? Just locked into place. Now, this right here is the little fan right here for suctioning. It does not get dirty at all. Maybe a little bit, but not to the point to where it requires massive type of cleaning or maintenance. All right, so I'm just going to slide this back in. So slide it back in. Once you have it back in there, make sure it's occasionally wipe it down in there and then go ahead and close this, locks it into place just like that, and it's ready to slide back into place. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide this back into place just like this, and you're ready to go. Okay, your hands get dirty a little bit. If you have a really hairy place with a dog or cat or somebody who just sheds their own hair a lot, it will get filled and you will have to empty it a lot. But if that's a problem, you can also go with some of the higher end models with the automatic dirt dispenser that I have right there, which it actually sucks out on its own, taking a little bit of more automation in there. I'm going to show you that again. So what happens with the higher end models, I don't care if you have the i9 or the i7, which this one is, i6, i3, whatever, where you have this automatic dirt dispenser right here. I'm going to show you how it works. So what happens is, okay, when the bin gets full, it gets full right here, the bin gets full, or it's done vacuuming, it'll go back to the automatic dirt dispenser. And you see this right here, it sucks the dirt, the living life out of it, sucks the dirt out of the dustbin, and it sucks it inside of this right here. Do you see this right here? It sucks it in this, and it goes all the way up into the dirt dispenser right here. And let me show you right here. It goes in the dirt dispenser and into this bag, which you can throw away. I actually have one of the bags, and I can show you what they look like. In the automatic dirt dispenser, this is the bag, and it looks like a small bag. Well, I mean, it doesn't really fill up too fast. I've had this bag for a good 6, 7 months, 8 months right here, and it is not even quarter of the way filled. And I pretty much do my floors like pretty much almost every other day to keep them clean. So I'm going to put that bag back in there. All right, put it back in there some other time. So here it is right here. So this is the M6. I'm just going to show you what the i7 and the 675 look like next to each other. They're relatively the same size. Do you see that right there? The same size and everything. One is just a little bit more powerful than the other. So I'm going to go ahead and stack this back on here. All right, stack this back on here. And I'm going to just give a brief overview of all three of the items that I just talked about today. 3 great vacuums by Irobot. All right, you have the 675. This is like kind of an entry level almost type of vacuum cleaner. It does a great job, does an excellent job on hardwood floors. Now, don't be frightened that it's the lower end model. It does a great job on on hardwood floors. Now, there comes a battery in here. If you use it every single day, like which I have, the battery for me lasted probably about a couple of years. And then I just had to order a new battery, and it's relatively simple to replace the battery on it. But it lasts a long time, the battery does on this. So it does a great job cleaning the floors, whatnot. That's 675. And to the middle right here, you have the Irobot Braava. They say it's spelled Brava, Braaa Jet M6 right here. Let me go ahead and put the tank back in here. All right, put the tank back in here. This is a mopping robot right here. It mops the floors pretty well. It does a back and forth action, and it goes across the floor. In the settings, if you have the app, let me pull this forward. We can talk about this a little bit more. If you have the app, you can actually tell it how much mopping you want it to do on your floors. You can actually have the setting to where it just briefly goes across the floors for light mopping action. You can go for the standard, or you can go for a heavy mop where it goes over the area like almost twice, as well as you can adjust the amount of liquid that comes out here. The solution, remember we talked about the solution, the Irobot Braava Jet solution right here. mixed in with water. You can tell it how much solution you want to actually come out of it. If you have really heavily soiled floors, you haven't mopped in a long time, sometimes I use a heavy solution on the floor as well as have it go across the floors several times rather than a light go over in order to get it clean. So that's the solution right here. So it works really well right here, the solution in here. I use this a lot for mopping my floors. It does great in the bathrooms. It takes automation to the next level. And then we have the i7 right here with the automatic dirt dispenser. Now this right here, I really love this. It takes automation to the next level. Literally, I don't have to really deal with this at all. It's kind of like a set it and forget it. I can put together a schedule where it will work automatically. And I'm just putting in the bag in here. So it'll work automatically. It will mop the floors, or no, excuse me, not mop the floors, vacuum the floors automatically on a schedule, or need be through the app, which I think is great. It will actually, you can actually press it and tell it when you want to. You can actually stop it. You can tell it how much vacuuming you want it to do. Now, let me get to that. So with the app that comes with this right here, with the Irobot vacuums, you can actually tell it how many times you want it to go over a floor. You can have it a light sweep through the floors. You can do a standard. You can have it automatically tell it, where it will automatically detect how big the room is, and it will go over the floor accordingly. Or you can have a setting to where you can have it go over the floor in each room twice. Now, if I haven't swept in a long time, I will actually go over the floor twice, because that's what it takes with this, twice over to go over the floor if you haven't done it every day. Now, if you vacuum your floors every day, it's okay to do a once over because you don't have a lot of stuff on the floor. It's not whipping things all over the place, and the single pass will actually do well if you vacuum your floors relatively often or you don't have really dirty floors. But it gives you that option to where you can choose and whatnot. So like I said with this one earlier, not a lot of maintenance for it. Occasionally hair gets caught up in it. The vacuum bag, I have not had to replace this yet. I will sometime in the future, but I have not yet. It's relatively low maintenance other than the filter, the Hepa filter, which we talked about earlier, that gets clogged with dirt. Really, that's the only bad thing with that. But other than that, those are the vacuums. We're going to take a good look at this. I'm going to continue the live streaming on with more products in a minute, but we have the my Irobot lineup right here. We have the 675. We have the Braava Jet M6 right here, great mopping vacuum, and we have the i7 Plus with the automatic dirt dispenser. All right, great vacuums that I have right here. So I'm going to be wrapping up with that. I like this a lot. I don't see anybody comments in here, but if you have any questions about this, any questions about any of these mops or vacuums right here, I'm just going to leave the panel open. You can go ahead and type in a message right here, and I can answer your questions about these devices right here. If you have any questions about the solution, if you have any questions about the mopping pads, come on, I can get some questions in here. I know some of you have some questions about these devices. If you have any questions about the Braava Jet, the Irobot Braava Jet right here, the 2 wet washable mopping pads, let me know. I will tell you about them. Anything else you want to know about them. The disposable pads, the 7 wet mopping pads, if you have questions about this, I can let you know. I think I pretty much covered it all, but if I missed something, if you have some concerns about I don't know how well these run or anything like that, let me know. If you have any questions about the pads on the bottom, these sensors, let me know in the comment box just right here. Just go ahead and just leave a comment and let me know. All right, if you have any questions about the dirt dispenser, how I can empty it so well, how long I've had it, had these quite a while. I've actually had a version of the Irobot Roomba for years, many years. I've had at least one robot. And at first, people were not really convinced with the automatic mops. But I'm saying if you can get one of these mops, okay, get one of these mops, whether it's this one right here, the lower end one for the 675, the M6, or the i7, it will actually give you more time in your day. Now imagine if you didn't ever have to sweep your floors or mop your floors, or not even necessarily sweep or mop your floors. Take the time. What if you didn't have to take the time to sweep or mop your floors? How much of your life could you actually get back or do something else that you want to do? And maybe there are some people out there that love to mop. Maybe there's some people out there that love to vacuum, but I can guarantee you, most people are not fortunate enough to have one of those desires to mop, okay? So you want to do something else in your life, okay? So this right here has been a blessing for me because I am one of those people who don't like to mop or sweep, but I do, however, like clean floors. I'm just going to take a sip of my water really quick. All right, that's good. All right, so yeah, so if you're not a person that likes to mop or sweep, but you desire clean stuff, it's kind of like, I look at this like a hotel room or something, right? So a hotel room, I mean, yes, not everybody likes to make their bed. Not everybody likes to keep it clean and vacuum it every single day, but everybody likes coming home to a nice, clean room in a hotel, right? So I look at this like this. This is like a maid right here. If you ever had a maid or anything at a hotel or something, this is like a maid. So like when you leave, you're just like, everything's a mess and everything's every place. But when you come back, it's like, wow. Sometimes I kind of feel like I'm the person to clean it. Like, did I really clean it? No, I didn't actually clean it. It was actually the housekeeping that came in and cleaned up the hotel room. So that's what this is like. This is like a housekeeper that cleans up your house when you're gone, or say, for instance, maybe you're there. Maybe you just don't feel like getting off the couch. Maybe you don't feel like getting out of bed, but you want to have the chores done, such as mopping the floor or vacuuming the floor. And you have this right here. It's like a robot housekeeping. I don't know. So since there's no questions, I'm going to be wrapping this up and we'll move on to the next subject. If you're following, stay tuned. We'll talk about something. I'll talk about like some supplements or something. I think that's what I'll talk about next. But I think this has covered it right here. I hope this is helpful to someone. All right, someone who's thinking about getting a robot mop or a robot vacuum. I hope I covered enough material to where, it can satisfy your hunger for questions about one of these things, because I think I covered it all. But if you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'm signing out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was useful. All right, have a good day.